Thank you. Always good to be at iMedia, especially good to be at iMedia when the Giants win the Super Bowl. So thank you very much. For those of you who know Media Math and know what we do, welcome. I see a lot of friends and colleagues here. Thank you for working with us. For those of you who don't, we are a company that uses math and technology that drives better performance for marketers through scale as well as results. And when we thought that the best way for us to show this, we're lucky to have one of our partners here today, Gomar from Sears, talk a little bit about how we work together during the holiday season to drive performance and help them push product during that real important end of quarter season. So I'll turn it over to Ian to chat through the case study.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Is this on? I guess it is, thanks. I'm the CMO of Sporting Goods, Fitness, Toys at Sears Holdings, which is Kmart and Sears. I also oversee the CMO Council at Sears. At Sears Holdings, we have 13 CMOs. Part of the case study involves the seasonal business unit, so that's basically what's happening in this case study. As a CMO, I'm very interested in several things. I'm very interested in acquisition, new customer acquisition, and I'm also interested in retention as part of my marketing mix and marketing strategy. This presentation in Media Math tends to focus on new customer acquisition. So again, looking at those people, whether they're shopping at Lowe's, Home Depot, Kohl's, JCPenney, Dick's, Sports Authority, the list goes on. I'm looking for those customers and trying to attract them to Sears or Kmart. And Media Math has helped me with that targeting effort. I mean, we talk about retargeting, we also talk about targeting. I'm focusing today, this little presentation is on targeting and our experience with Media Math, which has a very unique algorithm to efficiently find new customers that I can then convert. And just for the marketers in the room as well, when you're talking to your CMO or you're talking to your CEO, realize that in targeting as a KPI, your ROI initially is going to be lower than a retargeting effort in comparison. But so sometimes CMOs or CEOs by saying, well, what's the ROI? And it's going to be less than retargeting. And they're going to say, well, don't do that. Spend more time in retargeting. I tend to position as, hey, would you like, pick whoever your enemy is or your competitor to say, hey, how would you like to attract their customers? It's a lot better context to get your CMO or CEO to say, hey, sign me up. So let's just take a look quickly at some of the experience we had over the holiday with Media Math. So you can see remarketing, which is retargeting, and dynamic creative. Part of it is creative, part of it is offer, and also part of it I have to rely on Media Math that they're finding the right places at the right time in the right context to attract new customers. And I was in the branding, the brand-only meetings yesterday, and my colleagues and I we were talking a lot about content. What we weren't talking as much about was context. And I think that's what targeting also helps, is not only the content, what's the offer. And again, unlike my friend from Kellogg's who's interested in branding, I'm clearly interested in conversion. I'm here to make money. I'm a retailer. So the branding is done by my vendor partners. I'm here to make sure that conversion happens. So to me, it's all about ROI, MROI, retention, getting new customers, stealing market share from my competitors on a daily basis. Digital is a great way to drive it. So anyway, coming back, obviously Black Friday, you know how important that is to the retail community. There shows some examples of some remarketing up there, and then as we go through December, the strength of it. And it's dynamic creative, it's the context of where that creative is, and it's the efficiency of where that creative is that I really look at as a marketer. So you could take a look at the daily CPAs here. As you can see, they're quite high. Remember I told you the ROI on this is not that high out of the box. But once the algorithms kick in, and once, this is data that feeds upon data, almost like rich relevance. So the more you do, the better you're at, the lower the cost you get, and the more effective you become. So that's what I like about Media Math and their model. And this is a perfect example of showing what my cost per acquisition is up front when I first started. Gets the algorithm, gets the computer, gets all the data feeding to each other, gets the learning of what's not working, right time, right place, right offer, right context, and then it puts it together to give me the lowest cost per acquisition moving forward throughout the holidays. I mean, that to me, I can't back up because I just pushed it and I don't know how to do that, but that was the critical slide. So sorry about that. Next, I want to talk a little bit about targeting and the funnel. We talked a little bit about this at the Brand Lonely conversation yesterday, and that is in the media, in the marketing funnel, let's talk about what the right tool is in each element of that marketing funnel, whether it's awareness that my colleague from Kellogg's was talking about, or for me, it's more about, consideration, shop, conversion, and obviously loyalty. And I'm looking at all those elements in the marketing funnel and determining what tool is right, what are the KPIs for that, and what's the right mix of that overall. So if you come here to targeting, again, we're looking to increase the size of the pool for potential converters. So I'm looking out there for people who have shopped at Lowe's and Home Depots and JCPenney and Kohl's and all my competitors. I'm looking at prospecting, and then I'm also looking at engagement. How do I target engagement? How do I find their like profiles? So as they say, and I'm sure you've heard this before, birds of a feather flock together. So I need that profile so then I can efficiently go after that, and that's what Media Math helps me do. And again, that profile is very different for each of those competitors. Home Depot, Lowe's, Kohl's, JCPenney, Dick's, Sports Authority, people like that. And again, that's just on the Sears side. On the Kmart side, it's really Target and Walmart. And again, on the mass merch side of Kmart and Walmart and Target, those are less digitally developed consumers. So they're a little bit tougher to engage with. But on the Sears side, where they're a little bit more affluent, 50,000 household income plus, it's a little bit easier. Next is to drive conversion through dynamic remarketing. So it's not only getting the message out, but also understanding if they come to the website, retargeting them, giving them a different offer, giving them a different context, giving them an opportunity, again, all to convert. The whole web, again, is the storefront. So I have the web, I have a digital ecosystem, so it's whether you hit me on Facebook, whether you hit me on the vertical page, whether you hit me in relationship marketing, whether you hit me with bloggers, whether you hit me with a community, it's a total ecosystem that with Media Math, wherever you are in the system, I'm going to track you, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to make sure I've got a message for you that's right. And if you don't react to it, I'm going to redouble my efforts and get you another message that may be right for you based on your profile. So, that's what retargeting, that's what targeting can do for you. I mean, the response rate, the experience that I've had, particularly with Media Math, has been terrific. I mean, I was talking yesterday about a dashboard that I use to track messaging throughout the digital communication and multi-channels and be able to understand what the ROI is and the way to convert. But Media Math has been my partner in acquisition. So when I'm always looking for acquisition, they also do retargeting. I've got a lot of tools for retargeting, but not many people really do targeting and acquisition very efficiently and very effectively and on a pay-for-performance model, which to me, it's, as a retailer, that's basically how we go to market. So that's it. If you've got any questions, I think that was sort of short and hopefully to the point.
All right, thank you so much. Any questions? I think we're getting low blood sugar. It's lunchtime.
That's okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Ian. Actually, we do have one question over there. All the way on the other side of the room.
Steve Moynihan with Jywire. It's kind of awkward, embarrassing. The clapping has already happened. But so, Ian, was so much of your business driven through in-store? How do you guys measure the success of digital in driving in-store traffic for Sears?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, we do it in a way, we look at ourselves as a 21st century retailer. So it's not just digital. We look at it as bricks and mortar, digital, and home, and a seamless integration of those three and communication. So basically, we have our online marketing efforts, we have our mobile efforts, and we also have our bricks and mortar efforts. Sometimes we put the two together, and therefore, I mean, as it relates to marketing. So we'll send people online into stores, and we'll send people in stores online. So we'll go back and forth. One of the things that Kellogg's did, I think it was Kellogg's, did was tried to bring, no, I'm sorry, it was a competitor, talked about bringing the digital experience into the store. So one example would be, I read something recently that consumers today value a product review or reference or product review 6 times more than the brand, and they don't even know the person. So an anonymous person putting a product review about a product, consumers value that more than a brand communicating about it. I thought that was incredible. So what we try to do is take those reviews that are online, that are easy to achieve, and bring them in store with content and with product. So therefore, if I'm at the digital aisle and I take a look at something and I say, geez, I'm really interested in, I don't know, this Samsung TV right here. You know, let me see about the reviews of it. Boom, I can come onto my iPhone or my my mobile app, and I can see, hey, this is what people thought about, this is what they liked, this is what they didn't like, and then boom, I can make the conversion easier there. And I can also pop in an opportunity that, hey, I understand you're looking at this Samsung TV right now. Guess what? Since you're one of our Shop Your Way members, it's an extra 10% off over, today over the next couple of days. So I can also create conversion, I can also create product reviews, and I can give the content right there at point of sale. That's the power, I think, of digital technology today and the opportunity to convert at bricks and mortar.
Okay.
Yes.
One more question.
Hi, Jenna Naughton from eBay. You spoke a lot about retention being one of your key priorities too, and this seemed to be very focused on acquisition. How do you see retention coming into some of the strategies you deploy?
That's a great question. I mean, we have a rewards program, a loyalty program, Shop Your Way. We have 92 million members. It's probably one of the largest reward members in the country. The challenge, obviously, is I think one of the speakers earlier talked about is data, data, data. You know, we've got so much data. The challenge is, and the future is all about data, as we know. How do I get that data to a place where it's usable? So it's customer segmentation and understanding that. And how do I divide that up? And then once I understand it, because again, in the new world, the data world, it's really one-to-one mass commercialization. So I'm going to know everything about you, you, and you. And I'm going to be able to offer you opportunities that I know are consistent with your purchase behavior, whether you've told me that or not. Most likely you haven't told me. So I know, for instance, that you live in the suburbs. I know you have an acre of land. I know you have a 3-bedroom house. I know you have kids. So as a retailer that cuts across all those things, I know the last time you bought a washer dryer was 7 years ago. Well, they break down every 7 years, all right? So I know you're due for one. I also know that you just bought that house. I know you have an acre of land, so I know you're probably going to need a garden tractor. And you probably never have mowed a lawn before, because I also see that you lived in New York City and you had an apartment. So you're like, what are these weeds? Why does my lawn look so crappy? So I'm going to be able to help you out with that. So it's basically understanding the profiles of those people and then being able to provide them with solutions to their everyday life. And I think that's, again, if you've been reading the Steve Jobs book, I think that's what he was talking about, is giving consumers solutions before they ask for that. Because when consumers ask for that, all my competitors are already onto it. So it's understanding the consumer and their behavior and then delivering solutions that are helpful in their life. And I think that's what Steve Jobs did better than anyone else in the world. And that's why he was so successful. And as retailers, we're trying to do the same thing. Take data and apply it to consumer behavior in a way that helps people's lives. Did that answer your question? And in retention, that's what it's all about. If you're going to retain customer, then the ultimate has to be in customer service. That's got to be number one, particularly in a commodity-based business, right? I mean, because I sell things very similar to eBay. And I wake up every day worrying about my stores being showrooms for eBay. So they come to my store, just like Barnes & Noble was talking about last night. They go to Barnes & Noble, I'm a parent, I got kids, I go in, I want to see all the books. It's great. How do I avoid going into Barnes & Noble and then shopping at Amazon because I'm going to save $100? That's the challenge of brick and mortar retailers. So the only way to do that is through retention and through customer service and trying to provide differentiated product, of course. That's the way to do it. But in commodity-based businesses, and I do that. I have that with Kenmore, I have that with Craftsman, I have that with Nordic Track. But I don't on Sharp, I don't have on Samsung, I don't have on some of the others. So for those, I've got to fight a little bit harder. And I'll be able to do that through data, through communication, through context, through content, and through remarketing efforts. Probably longer response than you asked for.
Ian, I have a question. So
Yes.
Black Friday is just brick and mortar war. And I'm curious, while you're in that war, what you're seeing your competitors do that you're not doing that sparked your interest. Any strategies that are different from what you've laid out, or are all of your competitors sort of following that same model?
Wow. It really depends on the competitors, but I think what you saw in the market over the last year or two things happened for Black Friday if you're a student of retail over the last 2 years. Last year, not this Black Friday, but 2010, consumers are mainly interested in, it's all about consumer relevancy for a department store, which we are. It's all about what's the most relevant. And the most relevant at Black Friday is what? Consumer electronics, right? What happened in 2010 is Walmart went out and bought 42-inch TVs below cost, advertised it below cost, and created craziness. You know, and I think you all saw that in the news. They understood the relevance was consumer electronics. They understood that was an opportunity to drive product, and they were going to actually take a margin hit of several $1 million to do that. So they were putting not their money in advertising, they were putting it into a product that they were clearly underwater in. So that TV must have cost them in China $250. They were going to sell it to you for $188, and they bought 100,000 of them. All right? And that's how they just were going to suck up all the volume of Friday, Black Friday in the morning, with the thought that they would also sell them other products. That's the idea. That's the model. So they did that in 2010. Caught everyone off guard. Chalk went up to Walmart. They did a great job. 2011 rolls around. What happens next? So everyone rushes to try to do the same kind of gig, right? I mean, this is a little competitive, and I'll have my own brand. It'll be cheaper, and what's my offer, and all that kind of stuff. And we all did that. And what happened then? Well, Black Friday typically opens at what, 6 o'clock in the morning, and people are standing online. Is it 5 o'clock, right? This time, it's midnight. So now they changed it to midnight, right? So now, you're going to have Black Friday is going to be on Wednesday in a couple of years. So that's sort of the latest trend, long-winded way of saying what's happening Black Friday. So a little of that is that I think that we're also giving more incentives to people who shop early and shop. So you'll see deals, again, from 9 to, from 6 a.m. to midnight. You'll see deals throughout the year. Anything to get consumers in your store and to stay in your store. So there's more things available once you're in. I think technology will kick in. I'm not certain technologies where you can walk in and when you walk around, boom, you'll get coupons right on the spot if you're in the store. Everyone's doing Black Friday deals on hot items across the category. And that's all great. But it's, as you saw in this retail environment, in this past retailer, we all came out smoking for Black Friday and right after, right? The retail results were up 16%. And then they started to tail off a bit. Everyone had a pretty good Christmas season. We didn't have as much. A good Christmas season. I think that was more our fault than the markets. I think you're going to see that changing. But I think digital is going to play an important role, like you all know. That's it.
All right. Thank you so much, Ian.
Thank you.